ॐ ॐ ॐ हरिः ओम् घनानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीना उपमश्रवस्तमम् ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः दसाधनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाधिनीवती धीनामविद्रयवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो हरिः ओम यश्छन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽध्यमृता सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतो अमृतस्य देवदारणो भूयातं शरीरं मे विचर्सनं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्थमां कर्णाभ्याम्बोरिविश्रुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय मेधा देवी जुषमाना न आगात् विश्वाची भद्रासु मनस्यमाना स्वया जुष्टानुदमाना धुरुक्तान् बृहत्वतेम विदते सुवीराः त्वया जुष्टा ऋषिर्भवति देवि त्वया ब्रह्मागतः श्रीरुतत्वया त्वया जुष्टश्चित्रं विन्दते वसुसा ओजुषस्वज्रविनो न मेदे मेधा मयिन्द्रो ददातु मेधां देवी सरस्वती मेधा मे अश्विना उपावादत्तां पुष्करस्रजा अप्सरासु च या मेधा गन्धर्वेषु च यन्मनः दैवी मेधा सरस्वती सा मां मेधा सुरभिर्जुषताव स्वाहा आमा मेधा सुरभि विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगति जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिण्वमाना सा मा मेधा सुप्रदीका जुषन्ता मयि मेधा मयि प्रजा मयग्निस्तेजो ददातु मयि मेधा मयि प्रजा मयि इन्द्र इन्द्रियं ददातु मयि मेधा मयि प्रजा मयि सूर्यो प्राजो ददातु ॐ हंस हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंस प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
गणपति ओम जय गणपति ओम गणपति ओम जय गणपति ओम गजमुख वरदा गणपति ओम गजमुख वरदा गणपति ओम मूषिकवाहन गजानना मूषिकवाहन गजानना मोदकहस्ता गजानना मोदकहस्ता गजानना परमनिरञ्जन गजानना परमनिरञ्जन गजानना पाद नमस्ते गजानना पाद नमस्ते गजानना गणपति ओम जय गणपति ओम गजमुख वरदा गणपति ओम मूषिकवाहन गजानना मोदकहस्ता गजानना परमनिरञ्जन गजानना पादनमस्ते गजानना पादनमस्ते गजानना गणपति ओम जय गणपति ओम
गुरु साई सरस्वती सद्गुरु साई सरस्वती ब्रह्मदेव सती भारती ब्रह्मदेव सती भारती मंगल मंजुल वाग्विलासिनी मंगल मंजुल वाग्विलासिनी वीणवादिनी कलावती वीणवादिनी कलावती हंसवाहिनी हंसवाहिनी विद्यादायिनी वेद माता श्री साई भगवती वेद माता श्री साई भगवती सद्गुरु साई सरस्वती ब्रह्मदेव सती भारती मंगल मंजुल वाग्विलासिनी वीणावादिनी कलावती हंसवाहिनी विद्यादायिनी वेद माता श्री साई भगवती वेद माता श्री साई भगवती सद्गुरु साई सरस्वती
Om Shri Sai Ram. Invoking Bhagavan within each one of us gathered here for the satsang, may he speak through each one of us. A warm welcome to all the sisters and brothers of the Vidyavahini family across the globe on this 21st edition of the monthly satsang, based on the thought, teacher, a catalyst for inner transformation. Swami writes in his book, The Vidyavahini, teachers have to identify their role and their responsibilities. They have to bear a major share in fostering and preserving the mental and physical health of their tender, innocent wards. What is today's scenario in education? Swami has stated this most lucidly in his Chinnakatha, and we here have a humble representation of the story by our volunteers, Sister Priya, Kavita, Jyoti, and Rajalakshmi, and Sister Sujna providing the back-end support. Saira.
In the vocabulary of education today, riches, dhana, is dharma, merit. Acquisition of riches is considered the goal of all activity and is considered to bring status. One day, Lakshmi, the divine consort and the goddess of wealth, teased Lord Narayana.
Lord, the entire world adores me, and not even 1 in a million worships you. Lord, let's discover the facts for ourselves. Come, we'll go forth into the world and find out.
Narayana agreed and, dressed as a pandit, started visiting villages. He won appreciation and admiration from all for his enrapturing discourses. But soon, Lakshmi entered the world as a female ascetic, and she had her own plans to capture the so-called devotees.
Rita, unmute.
I have just 2 conditions. Number 1, I will not eat from your utensils, but will bring my own, and once the meal is over, I will leave them behind. And second one is, if you want me to visit your village, then first you must drive away the pandit from your settlements.
Oh, mother, We'll do whatever you say. Please do not hesitate from coming away. We will drive the Pandit immediately.
Soon, the news spread of the female ascetic leaving behind gold plates and treasures in every home she visited.
Hey, did you hear that? Who wants to listen to these discourses? I would prefer those golden plates and glasses. Let us drive away the Pandit from here forever.
Narayana decided to leave the world, and the moment he left, Goddess Lakshmi also followed. Back in their abode, they met.
Lord, now tell me, what did you discover? Who between us honored and worshipped more on earth?
Narayana agreed with Goddess Lakshmi that there is no ideal more desirable than getting rich. Today, education and the knowledge gained are being marketed. Money is all in all. Where is the place for values and transformation? What is the remedy for this malice? Let us now listen to our Master's own voice on what is the transformative role of a teacher in a student's life.
అధ్యాపకులు ఆదర్శమూర్తులు.
The teachers are ideals.
అధ్యాపకులు ఆచరించి విద్యార్థులకు అందించుటకు ప్రయత్నించాలి.
The teachers should put into practice and hand them over to the students.
ఎట్టి అధ్యాపకులు అట్టి విద్యార్థులుగా రూపొందుతారు.
As the teachers are, so the students will be.
అధ్యాపకులు వాటర్ ట్యాంక్ వంటి వాళ్ళు.
The teachers may be compared to a water tank.
విద్యార్థులు కేవలము ట్యాప్స్ వంటి వాళ్ళు.
The students are like the taps.
ట్యాంకులో ఎట్టి వాటర్ మనం ఫిలప్ చేసుకుందామో ట్యాప్స్ లో అట్టి వాటరే వస్తుంటాయి.
The kind of water that we fill into the tank, such water will come through the taps.
కనుక అధ్యాపకుల యొక్క హృదయం అనేటువంటి యొక్క ట్యాంకులలో పవిత్రమైనటువంటి యొక్క భావములు, నిస్వార్థమైనటువంటి యొక్క చిత్తములు అందులో చేర్చుకున్నప్పుడే ఈ విద్యార్థుల యొక్క ట్యాప్స్ ఎందుకుడను అట్టి పవిత్రమైనటువంటి భావములే రూపొందించటం కానీ, ప్రకటించుటం కానీ, వికసించుటం కానీ, ప్రచారించుటం కానీ అవకాశం ఏర్పడుతుంది.
Thus, it's only when we fill qualities like selflessness and lack of pride and good qualities in the hearts which are like the tanks in the teachers, then only the students who are like taps will get these good qualities, selflessness and lack of ego through them.
Swami has so clearly stated the characteristics of an ideal teacher. It is indeed a big responsibility, a selfless sadhana. In this context, we would have had some experiences relating to a particular teacher in the school who threw a different light to a particularly tough challenge, or gave us some hope and strength, or helped us to learn to trust our capabilities and march ahead with faith. Let us listen to a few such experiences shared by the teacher and some volunteer students. We now call upon Samita sister, who's a teacher who has been teaching biology and physiology for almost 20 years in the US to undergraduate students and worked on online course development along with teaching online classes. So, Sister Samita, what are your takeaways where you could reflect the teaching of Swami in your long career as a teacher?
Thank you, Radhika sister. My pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan and Sairam to everyone, my brothers and sisters. It is my privilege today in this satsang to offer my gratitude to Swami for taking me through this journey, which was his will to take me through this journey in order to transform me to be a better person, something that he would want us to become. It was a huge challenge, but I understand why he made me go through this journey. And just to realize the truth and the profundity of his teachings. So I met Swami in 1971 when I was 14 years old. And then at that time, my parents, we were called into an interview, and my parents had been talking about Swami as God. His picture was in our altar and all that. And then when I first saw him at that age, I thought that God is so easily accessible that you can just talk to him and you can actually take his Pada Namaskar. I mean, all these things were like, it came as in a very different angle, and it had a huge impact on me. And then after that, several years passed, and in 1986, it was his plan. He sent me to US through marriage, and everything was his plan, whatever he did. And so once when I got here, I heard about this community college. I was not aware of it. In India, I mean, I had all my education back in India. And so I didn't have this idea of what a community college is. It's basically an undergraduate course, but it's a preparatory 2-year course prior to the 4-year degree program that they have over here. And so I was told like all kinds of numerous stories about the community college students, that they are the unconventional students, they haven't been in school. So you may, face some students who are very different from what you are used to and all such things. But that, I think it was Swami who was working at the back, kind of drew my interest and my, I wanted to take up that challenge. That I want to, have this experience. I want to be in a class. I want to teach these students. Let me see what I can do. And so I first started as an adjunct faculty in one of the community colleges in Texas. And so the first day of class, I cannot forget, because I was shocked to be in a class of 30 students and ages ranging from 18 to 48. They were older than me at that time. So I was like, oh my, totally, I was overwhelmed. I mean, how am I going to reach out to these students? How am I going to connect to these students? What am I going to do with them? Like, I was so like, it was a totally new experience. I was not expecting, I was hearing about it, but when you face something, that is something different. But, and then the first thing I thought of doing is, the first thought that came to my mind is like Swami's, the basic concept of all his teachings, that fill your hearts with love and you will be able to teach. So even though this population was strange to me, in a strange country, I was new to this country at that time. And so I thought that that is the best way that I can connect to them. And they were also skeptic. It was a two-way channel all the time. They had a lot of skepticism of, a person coming from India. She's going to teach us physiology. They had all these thoughts in their mind. So I knew that I have to overcome all these barriers in order to connect to them. So Swami did put me into a role and a huge responsibility. So my first lesson was in chemistry. I taught physiology, human physiology. That was my subject. So on atomic structure. And then I figured out that half of the class really didn't know the details of the atomic structure. And that made me nervous. That so, physiology is all about chemistry, all about chemical reactions. What am I going to do with them? And so, that kind of motivated me. And because I thought that if I'm not motivated, if I don't, show them the path, then how am I going to motivate them and, reach out to them? So I started, it's a lot of experience in my 20 years of teaching. But the first thing that I started doing was to assign them homework. And because I heard from people, the dean also explained it to me, that, most of them, they don't know how to study. They haven't been in school for 10, 15 years. They don't know, how to study, when to study. They are like coming to your class in between their actual job. And, all these things were so new to me. Being just a conventional student from India, you can imagine my situation. But then, so I started giving them assignments that you read this section, try to answer these questions, and you come to class. Then I found out that they don't have the time for that. They may read, but they don't have time to work on assignments. So what to do next? So you come to class, and then we will discuss the questions in class. At least you do the reading. So, step by step, I kind of tried to break the barrier of, they had an inhibition. They had this inhibition to study. No, I'm not saying the whole class, but majority of them. So that was a huge thing that, I had to work on. And then, of course, this was like, I'm talking about the late 90s. And at that time, Web City came into the scene. And I was able to use Web City at that time to post, the questions, case studies, anything to just draw their interest, because the attrition rate was very high for physiology. People just sign up because most of them want to become nurses or like a therapist and all that. They get that associate degree. But they don't realize that physiology is not an easy subject. It is one of the hardest, subjects in biology, because it is all about physics and chemistry, basically. So, it took a lot of effort, but I just want to share up the many experiences, one little experience that stands out in my mind, because I still remember this boy, a very young boy, like I remember his name, Michael. He used to come to class and sit at the back and always keep his head down, never look at me. And then I talked to him. I called him. I always made it a point that I have to communicate with these students. I called him outside the class, after class. I talked to him to find out like what his problem is. Why is he doing like this? Why isn't he not participating? And because, I used to put them in groups, in teams, and he was always like the total non-participative one. So then he told me of his life, what is going on. And, I could totally understand his point. So that, that was a big eye opener, that compassion you have to have in order to be able to teach. You have to have compassion. You have to place yourself in the shoes of the students. So when I first got this opportunity last year to work at Vidya Vahini, working on content. That was my primary thought, was that who am I making these contents for? Who are the end users? Are they they be able to use it? So, this is a very like I said, there are so many examples, so many instances in my life that it's very difficult to just focus. But this is one of the things that I wanted to mention. But that boy, that Michael, then understood. And another thing that happened is the students seeing me Indian, and you know how people over here are, they are very much aware of people from other places, their color of the skin, the way they talk, etc., etc. I was told about my accent, and so again Swami came to my rescue, because immediately I thought about him, and his words said, you are Bharatiya and you have to be proud of who you are. And so whoever told me, I told that student that yes, I am from India and I am very proud of my upbringing in India. My education is in India. And as you can tell, that I know the subject matter more than you do. I may have an accent, but you have an accent too, which I don't understand. So that one conversation in the whole class just changed the whole mood. They never again complained about of course, we all have accents and Americans don't speak English. So that is a known fact. So, I would like to not prolong my conversation. I would like to ask Divya sister to share her experience. Divya sister is a BCom computer graduate and an active volunteer for the interactive quiz module. And I will request you to share any experience that you can recall of a teacher who has motivated you or guided you as a student. Sairam.
I offer my humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Om Sri Sairam. Sairam to everyone. It was during my 10th standard that I was not allowed to write public exams without proving myself in the internal exams conducted by school. As my school headmaster taught, I cannot even pass the exam with bare minimum required marks because I could not study 8th and 9th standard due to some financial issues and directly joined 10th class. And so at that point of time, I was completely demotivated to prepare for the exams. But I was motivated by my science teacher named Vittal sir. He's a new teacher who joined the school just before when I rejoined for 10th standard, and I was tensed about how to start and how to prepare. But he started to teach me separately every topic as he already finished teaching almost whole subject to other students. But he took extra care and helped me with his notes, which he prepared for himself to teach us. And he constantly motivated me to do hard work and prepare for not only his subject, but even other subjects. He even asked other students to help me with the notes for other subjects so that I can complete my preparation for all the subjects before exam. With his constant motivation, I'm able to pass my 10th standard with first class and scored good marks in many subjects, including science. And even in Vidya Vahini, I got little tensed about how to make PPTs and interactive quiz, which is totally new thing for me, as I never previously tried making PPTs because I'm not a private job holder, but whenever I feel low and demotivated, I remember my 10th class teacher motivation and I continue doing my work with that motivation. So he is my ideal teacher whom I will never forget. Even Swami is my ideal teacher. Because of him only, I'm more confident in making PPTs and doing this interactive quiz. I'm getting motivation from Swami as well. Sairam.
Thank you, Divya sister. That was such an excellent example that you shared with us, like a motivation from a teacher. And that is one of the primary job of a teacher. And Swami, as you said, he is our role model for everything in life. And but for motivation, it is kind of a two-way channel, right? I mean, because you wanted, the teacher was able to reach out to you. Not all students are that receptive. That is very obvious. Not all students will be receptive, but as a teacher, our job is to show students that, this is the way that you can do that. That the teacher is approachable. That is a very important thing. Once they understand that, yes, this person is actually trying to help me, then again, like you said, that it is you, it came from you too. I mean, you put in 100% effort for that, for your success. So motivation is a big thing. And again, a small little incident. One time when I told them that, okay, you need extra time, then I can see you on the weekend. Can you come and, we can sit and we can, whatever questions you have, because you don't have time during the week, we can do it on weekend. So this student, she was like an older lady. She was trying to become a nurse or something. She came up from her seat and she actually touched me and said that, are you real? These things were so like touched my heart, that I understood that Swami is trying to show me that, see, the human nature is human nature wherever you are. And so, these little incidents I just wanted to share with you. But let's ask Vardhini sister. As you just heard her, she's a beautiful, wonderful singer, a versatile singer, I would say. She is a Bal Vikas alumnus and a very active contributor to the FM team. Please, Vardhini sister, if you can share your experience of any teacher who, made a change in your life. Thank you, sister.
Sairam to all sisters and brothers. My humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our ever-loving Saima. Yes, Samita sister, as Swami told, teachers should fill their hearts with love. Should fill the students' hearts with love. Teachers with love should teach the children the self-confidence. So, I just want to narrate my incident, which helped me to develop self-confidence. When I completed my 10th class, my principal told me that she will not give commerce group with maths. I convinced her that I will work hard and do well. But she told it's difficult and I cannot cope up. So I started crying, and when we came out of the principal room, my parents told, we will check in other schools also. And with Swami's blessings, I got a school with my group. In that school, I got a good teacher in maths who encouraged me in doing maths. And in every day after my regular school, I even went to tuition for maths with the maths sir. He encouraged me a lot. And with Swami's grace, I got good marks, not only above average, it is above 80%. I was so happy. So I feel it is the teachers, our Bhalvikas gurus and the parents who are giving us the self-confidence. Sister, I also just want to narrate a few incidents which changed my life throughout because of Swami's grace when I joined Bhalvikas. And when my Bhalvikas guru told me that you have to be in good company always. You should avoid bad company. As our Swami says every time. As Adi Shankara also says in Bhajagovindam, Satsangatve Nissangatvam, Nissangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam, Nischalatatve Jivan Muktihi. So one day, what happened when I was in the same 11th and 12th class, I think, after school, we have a habit of taking the cycle and standing under the tree and chit-chatting with friends. We used to do this with girls' friends, always girl friends, and as per Swami's guidance. So when we were doing this every day for 5-10 minutes after the school gets over, we will meet in a place and we will chit chat. I don't know that this was watched by my Bhalvika's guru. So after suddenly one day evening, after I came back from school, my guru approached me. He told me, why are you standing there every day and talking? I should never see there from this day. So he told me, you have to be in good company all the time. Though they are your friends, you should be very careful in choosing them. If you feel they are bad, run out of that bad company. So that day I was so scared when my guru came to my house and advised me. And it is because of Bhagwan's blessings. Till this day, Bhagwan always keeps me in good company. And when some new friends comes in, he always helps me to test those friends. And he guides me from my heart and he tells me whether it is good or bad. And thanks to my Bhalvika's guru for showing us the right way. And our only guru is Bhagwan, who gives us and teaches everything. Jai Sai Ram for this opportunity. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Vardhini sister. That was so nice. And you just touched on the right point. Swami always stresses on good company and the encouragement that you got from your teacher, which helped you to be successful as a student. That is very, very a very true thing that happens to students. But again, the effort came from your side. And as you said, Swami is there always as our guidepost. So we are ever so grateful to him. I will request Mala Saraswati sister, who is in Germany, and she has a master's degree and joined Vidya Vahini 6 months back and is an active contributor for the MM team. So if you can again, share any outstanding experience with a teacher, sister.
Sairam to everyone. As Samita sister already mentioned, we have been sharing our inspiring stories about teachers or what we ourselves as teacher have been to students in our life. So in the same note, I would like to narrate one experience back when I was in the secondary class in 6th and 7th. I had a social teacher. She had a very interesting method of teaching us not just social science, but also values with the studies. So the entire class was divided into 5 or 6 groups, and each group had about 5 students, with one student being the leader of the group. So she made sure that each and every group always completed their assignments, task, quiz, or anything that was given to us. And she made sure that we made this not by our own selves, but by showing us that we have to care for our peers and help others in also succeeding. So what we used to do is that she used to give us assignment, and the leader of each group had to make sure that all the others in the group also did their assignments or also studied well for the test and were prepared for the next day's class. So not just the teacher took the responsibility of inculcating values and also showing us how to study the concept, but she also made sure that students themselves took responsibility for their studies and also helped their peers in performing well, and also gave us extra points, stars, which was a very, very healthy competition back at that age. But in 6th and 7th, we only thought about playing or other things, and even our competitions, though they were always healthy, it can also be wrong at times. But she made sure that the competition that we had inside our class was very healthy. She used to award the best group stars and some extra points or sometimes even chocolates. So the very small things made a great difference in us. So this is something that I have kept along with me even till now. And I guess Vidya Vahini is one such place which is a perfect example for what I just narrated. In Vidyavahini, not just the teachers take responsibility, but also the students are also given the opportunity to take responsibility. And Vidyavahini not just teaches concepts of chemistry, biology, physics, or English, but with that, it also teaches the important life values that any student must inculcate in his life and grow along in the life. So, this has been a wonderful opportunity for me to contribute to Vidyavahini, and that is why I also joined here. And now I thank Swami and everyone for providing me with this opportunity. Om Shri Sai Ram.
Thank you so much, Vala Saraswati. We kind of reiterate what you just summed it up very well. That's why we are all here at Vidyavahini, because we can see the practical application of what we were just talking about, all our experiences. So you touched on very important points on team-based learning, taking the responsibility, and again, like your teacher motivated you along these paths. So the Vidyavahini, what we are trying to do now is to focus on this pathway, putting the responsibility of learning to the learners, to the students. And that really does, I mean, shifting this paradigm really helps students to become better learners, take the responsibility, and in the process, transform themselves. So with this, I would like to end with a poem that I found very very touching, because it is written by a student. I forgot where I got it from, but it kind of touches all the points that we have been talking about, and it is so beautiful. So I wanted to read this out with all of you. So it says, Swami with his students, inexplicable bond. I remember your care, your concern, your sympathy, your love. I saw the anxiety in your eyes. I tasted the sweetness of your affection. I remember the pride in your eyes. You beamed with joy when I stood tall and flew high. You shared my sorrows. You understood my feelings. You admired my innocence. You have accepted my feelings. You gave yourself to me. For the twinkle in your eyes, for the mischief in your smile, for the joy in the archives of your laughter, for the warmth of your intimacy, for the confidence you reposed, for the understanding you displayed, for the support you have extended, I am grateful. You taught me to be good than to be great. You taught me to believe than question. You taught me to achieve than resign. You taught me to serve. You taught me to pray, to live, guiding me to grow, encouraging me to evolve, inspiring me to act, instructing me to be right, advising me to excel. You chiseled the human in my heart. In the wave of your hand, you showed the power of God. In the generosity of your love, you showed the profundity of selfishness. In the acknowledging nod, you showed the power of prayer. So I think this is what we are all students of Swami, and this is our prayer to him. This is what we have received from him. Thank you so much, Saira.
Wow, that was such a wonderful and apt poem, sister. Thank you so much for sharing it in your own expressive way. In fact, who can be a more beloved and benevolent teacher than Bhagwan? As Swami himself said, I am the Nataraja, the dance master, and I alone know the agony of teaching you each and every step in the dance. A true teacher, as he said, is the one who walks the talk. Cheppinattu Chastara, he always used to quiz. So thank you, sisters, for sharing all your experiences. In fact, this is what Sri Sathya Sai Vidyavahini fosters through its content, as you all rightly mentioned, making learning IIEP in a value-based environment. And it is about education and educare, helping the children soar high and also be ambassadors who reflect the Lord's teachings of hands in the society and head in the forest. So with this, we conclude. Thank you, Swami, for the opportunity to share a few of our thoughts, which again has only come through you to us. And thanks to all the brothers and sisters for joining us in this joyful evening for the satsang. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Jai Jagadish Hare Swami Satya Sai Hare Bhakta Jana Samrakshak Bhakta Jana Samrakshak Pati Maheshwara Om Jai Jagadish Hare Shashivadana Shrikara Sarva Pranapati Swami Sarva Pranapati Ashrita Kalpalatika Ashrita Kalpalatika Apakandhava Om Jai Jagadish Hare Mata Pita Guru Daivamu Mariyantayu Neeve Swami Mariyantayu Neeve Nada Brahma Jagannatha Nada Brahma Jagannatha Nagendra Shayana Om Jai Jagadish Hare Omkara Rupa Ojasvi Sai Mahadeva Satya Sai Mahadeva Mangala Arati Anduko Mangala Arati Anduko Mandala Giridhari Om Jai Jagadish Hare Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana 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 Om Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Sadguru Deva Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana 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 Om Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Sadguru Deva Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana 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 Om Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Sadguru Deva Shanti 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 Samasta Lokaah Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Lokaah Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Lokaah Sukhino Bhavantu Shanti 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 Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai